Konbanwa, James des. I feel a little bad about getting the jump on tokyocooney for announcing this, but it's been mentioned on the BBS on his homepage, separate from YouTube, that this year's 2009 Tokyo YouTube Hanami thing is going to be this Sunday in Yoyogi Park, somewhere, at some time. During the day, I assume, assuming it doesn't rain. I'm assuming it won't rain. I'm assuming it'll be, well, decent enough weather that people can get drunk and not notice the weather anymore. By the way, there's a story. I've got a good story for the end of this one, so stay tuned if you're looking for a good story. Yes, during the day, Hanami in Yoyogi Park, lots of drunkenness. That night, nearby, pretty close actually to Yoyogi Park, at Shibuya Cyclone, is forget the actual title of the event, but check out the channel Uchikubi, spelled just like that, UCHIKUBI. The band named, get ready for this, uchikubigokumondokokai. They have an event that night, celebrating basically Okinawa and everything about it, particularly loud bands from Okinawa, and loud people from Okinawa. Yeah. Right, I was gonna film this this preview thing for that event, like when at the band I was going to see just a few hours ago, Korosuke at Shinjuku Antinock, but I got too drunk and it wasn't happening. So, Sunday after Hanami, the place to go that night will be nearby, Shibuya Cyclone, uchikubigokumondokokai. I got their t-shirt on right now. It says, Ikite kaere, which basically means, get home alive. On the back of this t-shirt, I'm going to turn around. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. Funny thing, I should have a tripod or something like that. It says Goku on the back. Goku as in hell. But that's the Goku in the band name. That kanji on the back there. Hope you can see it. Uchikubigokumondokokai, Sunday night after Hanami at Yoyogi Park. Because I like the band and I'm going to see how many people I can get to go with me from Hanami. So, what else? Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get a bunch of people with the same t-shirt to show up at YouTube Hanami, just to see how many people with Goku on their back can show up. But anyways, right, that's Sunday night, but the story I was going to tell. So earlier I told the story of how I got to be able to take Japanese, basically the result of my not knowing what time the cafeteria opened, and a clerical error on someone else's part. Let's see, my sophomore year, my second year of university, I lived in the Japanese section of the language house. Now, the idea of the Japanese section of the language house is that you speak Japanese all the time. Or at least, you're only allowed to speak the target language in your particular house area. There was a Spanish section, a French section, all different languages. I think there was a Russian section at some point, too. But as long as you were in your section of the language house, you're only allowed to speak the target language. The time I was there, it was only for one semester before I got a one semester intern job at Intel. But anyways, fall semester of my second year, there were 6 of us, including the native speaker. 6 of us. 3 of us had the same birthday. Half of us had the same birthday. Me, the native speaker, and this other guy. Can't remember his name. Paul, I think? I forget. So yeah, 3 out of 6 of us, half of us, had the same birthday. Then, years and years later, let me see if I can walk this through a bit. Okay, between 3rd and 4th year of university, I participated in a program for engineering students studying the Japanese language, being held at an engineering university, Kanazawa Kogyo Daigaku, on the west coast, in Ishikawa Prefecture. And I did that job, well actually wait, I didn't get to the job part yet, right. Between 3rd and 4th year, 8-week course for engineers studying Japanese at this engineering university. And at the end of this 8-week course, they interviewed us all for jobs at that university after graduation. So I went into my 4th year of university with a job already set for me. But, so I did that job for about a year and a half. And what the job was, by the way, was being an interpreter and a translator for foreign professors teaching engineering design to basically college students who had gotten their 4-year vacation and weren't interested in working all that hard. And they were speaking Kanazawa Ben, which was difficult for someone just coming out of 4 years of studying electrical engineering and Japanese. So I did that for a year and a half, and wasn't having the most fun in the world. So next I got a job at an ISP in Tokyo. Did dial-up tech support there for about 2 years. Now, while I was working at that ISP in Tokyo, doing dial-up tech support, email and phone support, in English, by the way, I wasn't allowed to let on that I spoke Japanese. That was part of the job, because if you're doing English tech support, and you let on that you can speak Japanese, and you'll get people asking you to translate manuals for them. But anyways, was in that tech support job for about 2 years, and the ISP, the offices, were about halfway between Nakanosaku Station and Nishi Shinjuku, I think it is, on the Marunouchi line, the red subway line. I think of it as the red line because I'm from, well, the suburbs of Boston, of course. But and it's shaped the same too as the red line in Boston. But anyways, one night while I was having dinner, I guess, at the McDonald's at Nakanosaku Station, I'm eating, and I look up, and standing outside talking to someone is the native speaker from the language house, which at the time, golly, that must have been 1999, I guess. And I was in the language house fall of 93. So first time I'd met her in I graduated in 96, so that was the first time I'd met her in 3 years. Just happened to run into her in the middle of Tokyo, native speaker with the same birthday as me. And many months later, I saw, while I was in that same McDonald's, I looked out the window, many months later, and I saw the other guy from the language house who had the same birthday as me. Just happened to be at that same location. It turns out they ended up both working for Oracle, I think it was, after graduation. They both ended up in Tokyo, and they both happened to walk right in front of me while I was sitting at the McDonald's at Nakanosaku Station. And a few years later, even, after I moved into the Shimokitazawa area, there's well over 400 Starbucks in Tokyo, or actually 400 Starbucks in Japan by now. The one that's like a 3-minute walk from the north exit of Shimokitazawa Station is in the mid-teens. It's store number 17 or something like that. Really nice place. Was in there, and I ran into the native speaker again, and she was there with her boyfriend, and he seemed to be wary of this guy who knew her from way back. But yeah, I just happened to run into her in the Starbucks in town. All of the millions of people in Tokyo. And two people that I run into just randomly happen to have the same birthday as me. And, well, basically anyone who is in my Mixie can probably cheat and peek at my birthday and guess which other famous YouTuber has the same birthday as me. But I'm going to try to save that for some sort of collab in a few months. Hopefully I can make something out of that birthday. So yeah, Sunday, Hanami, Yoyogi Park. I'm only doing one take on this. I will not edit this. I swear to God, I will not edit this. Yoyogi Park, Hanami. After Hanami, when the sun goes down, Shibuya Cyclone to see who else is playing. uchikubigokumondokokai, Majo, who have gone on. I talk about them way too much because they're that good. The guitar player for uchikubigokumondokokai, not uchikubi, guitar player for Majo, born and raised in Okinawa, happened to go to the same high school as the drummer for Bleach. Bleach's channel on YouTube, by the way, is Bleach03 Rocks. Majo, by the way, and you can see on my other channel, Lower North Swamp, and uchikubigokumondokokai have their own channel called Uchikubi. Also, there's another band playing that night called Two Side One Brain, and I happened to run into two of them at Shinjuku Antinok while I was watching Karosuke. And the two guys I saw, I thought they were brothers at first, but it turns out that they were actually pure-blooded Okinawan, because, I mean, there's a myth of Japanese racial unity, when in fact there's actually a few different groups within Japan. There's Okinawans, there's Ainu, and then there's the type of folk that I guess everyone stereotypically thinks is Japanese. But I mean, these two guys had very Okinawan faces, and if you go and meet them and see them, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, Shibuya Cyclone that night. That's the place to be after Hanami, if you want to get even more drunk. So I'll see you all there.